Welcome to Space Matrix. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. India is no longer just a large country in South Asia. It's now a major player on the world stage. Its economy is booming, giving it a louder voice in global affairs. World leaders are flocking to New Delhi, eager to build stronger ties. India's young, growing population sets it apart from aging major powers, making it a magnet for trade and investment. As the world's largest democracy, India is a natural partner for the West, but it's also charting its own course. Its strategic location in the Indian Ocean gives it influence over vital global trade routes. India's expanding navy and maritime security role make it indispensable to regional stability. Countries from Japan to the Middle East recognize India's growing clout. India is moving beyond its old non-alignment policy, now embracing multi-alignment, building relationships with many countries based on its own interests. This new confidence is reshaping world politics. India is no longer a bystander, it's actively shaping the rules of the global game. Its decisions now have consequences far beyond its borders. The world is watching as India steps into a leadership role. With economic power, demographic strength, and strategic vision, India is redefining what it means to be a global power. The future of Asia and the world will be shaped by India's choices. As old powers adjust, India's rise signals a new era in international relations. The question is no longer if India will lead, but how. India and the United States have built a strong partnership on shared democratic values. After the Cold War, both nations saw the potential for a strategic alliance in the 21st century. The US viewed India as a key partner to balance China's rise, while India gained access to technology, investment, and new markets. Military cooperation deepened with joint exercises like Malabar and growing defense ties. American tech giants invested in India, while Indian talent thrived in Silicon Valley. Millions of Indian Americans have become a vital bridge, strengthening business, cultural, and political ties. This partnership is more than just government to government, it's people to people. The US-India relationship has become a cornerstone of stability in a changing world. But as global dynamics shift, both countries must adapt to keep this bond strong. The future of this partnership will depend on how well they navigate new challenges together. Their shared path is crucial for the world's balance of power. Despite close US ties, India is now recalibrating its relationship with China. High-level meetings and informal summits have replaced confrontation with dialogue. Both sides have de-escalated border tensions and increased economic cooperation. India is now more open to Chinese investment and trade, recognizing the benefits for its own development. In global forums like BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India and China are finding common ground. They're working together to promote a more balanced, multipolar world order. This new approach signals India's desire to shape, not just react to, the global balance of power. Why is India pivoting toward China? It's a calculated move rooted in national interest. India needs massive investment for infrastructure, and China has the resources to help. A stable relationship with its powerful neighbor is essential for economic growth. By reducing border tensions, India can focus on development instead of costly military standoffs. There's also growing uncertainty about America's reliability as a partner. US foreign policy can shift with every election. India is hedging its bets, seeking strategic autonomy by diversifying its alliances. Working with China gives India more options and leverage on the world stage. India and China both see the era of Western dominance fading and want a bigger say in global leadership. By engaging with China in groups like BRICS, India is helping to build an alternative to the Western-led order. This isn't about choosing sides, it's about maximizing India's influence. India wants a seat at the main table, not just as an ally, but as a leader. This bold strategy is reshaping the global balance of power. India's choices now echo far beyond its borders. The world is watching as India claims its place among the great powers. India's pivot toward China is a wake-up call for the United States. For years, the US counted on India as a democratic counterweight to China in Asia. If India moves closer to Beijing, America's Indo-Pacific strategy is weakened. The Quad's effectiveness is at risk, and US influence in New Delhi could decline. India's growing independence means it will make choices that don't always align with Washington's interests. American businesses may lose ground to Chinese competitors in India's vast market. The US can no longer assume shared values guarantee a strategic alliance. It must offer real, tangible benefits to remain relevant as a partner. The world is more complex, and American influence is no longer automatic. The US must adapt to a new reality where power is shared, not dominated. India's choices are forcing Washington to rethink its global strategy. India's foreign policy shift reflects a world in transition. The old US-led order is giving way to a multipolar system, with power shared among rising nations. Countries like India, Brazil, and Turkey are asserting their interests and forging new alliances. The clear lines of the Cold War are gone. Today, partnerships are fluid and issue-based. India can work with the US on security and with China on global governance. Non-Western institutions like BRICS and the SCO are gaining influence, offering alternatives to Western-dominated systems. Developing countries now have more options and greater say in global affairs. This new order brings both risks and opportunities. Instability, but also more voices at the table. Smaller and middle powers can now build diverse partnerships to advance their interests. The world is becoming more complex and more democratic in its distribution of power. India's rise is a key driver of this transformation. The future will be shaped by how these new relationships evolve. The global game is changing, and India is helping write the new rules. The future for India, China, and the US is filled with both challenges and opportunities. India must balance its ties with two competing giants, requiring deft diplomacy. If successful, it can become a truly independent global power. China must convince neighbors like India that its rise is peaceful, building trust for a stable Asia. The US must adapt to a world where it's no longer the sole superpower, offering partnerships based on respect and mutual interest. These shifts are not temporary, they mark a fundamental reordering of the world. The relationship among these three nations will shape global peace and prosperity for decades. Their ability to manage competition and cooperation will define the 21st century.